Hello, I'm Sophie D'Souza and welcome to my channel, Sophie Stained Glass. Loads of videos about stained glass, which I hope you might find helpful, so do have a look in your own time. Today's video is another one to do with rebuilding a window, because if you work or you want to work in stained glass professionally, you're going to be asked to rebuild windows quite a lot. And it's not the most creative thing to do, and it can be quite difficult. And although I have shown myself doing it before, I've never shown me teaching someone. So I'm thinking that might be quite useful. So let's start by having a look at the window. This has come out of a church, circa 1930, flat lead, very simple scallop pattern. And let's have a look at the tools we're going to need. So your main tools for taking apart are your grozers and your lead cutters. I find this type of lead cutter best. You need a tape measure, pen, lead knife can be quite helpful, some sort of graphite. Sometimes you're going to need a Bosch multi-tool or something similar, and some paper. So the first thing you need to do before you take a window apart is take a rubbing to preserve the pattern. Now, in addition to preserving the pattern, you can use this to one side. When you're taking apart your window, you take the piece you've just removed and you lay it in the place it's come from on the pattern. And so what we're going to do is we're going to number the actual window and we're going to number the pattern in the same way. And actually it can be helpful to take two rubbings, because then you can have a making pattern and you can have the pattern you've laid the pieces on that you take from. And as you can see, it doesn't take long to make one of these rubbings. So now if you transfer those numbers to the corresponding place on this pattern. First thing you have to consider before you start is your direction of travel, because if you think about the shapes you're working with, you need to be able to get them out in the direction towards yourself. So I'm just going to think about whether it's going to make any difference which way we work, and I don't think it will with this window. What I do is just start with the edge closest to you and pull it off the edge of your workbench. Then you take your grozers and you start in the middle and you pull it away. And I don't know if you can see there, but I've pulled it clear of the glass, and that means I can do this. And I'm going to do that all the way along this edge. Well, actually Ben's going to do these bits. There you go. You don't need a huge amount of pressure. That's it, that's it. If you wiggle too much while the lead is still over the glass, you will break the glass. So when you first start, it's more of a pull and just a slight movement. Perfect. Now, these are all intact. This one's broken. Now, I'm hoping all of these pieces are basically the same shape, but mostly that won't happen in a window. And when you've got broken areas, you want to try and preserve the pieces and use them as a pattern. So I'm going to get some tape and we're going to tape this up. Although actually it might be taped up. Yeah, I think it's already taped up. But I'll get some fresh tape and that will hopefully keep everything intact. Right, so you just start folding back the lead, and what you'll find is you can wiggle it off. And the reason I've started with this piece is because it's already broken. I'm going to ease up the flange.
Funny word, isn't it?
Funny word, yeah.
Sounds horrible. Like flan.
Like what?
Like flan, yeah, like food. What is a flan? Like food, isn't it?
It is a
like
food.
a tart or something type thing. But savoury, right?
So we've established that Ben is hungry this morning. And I'm just easing it out. You really want to avoid too much force. If you have to apply a lot of force, then just work it out with your knife. So I'm just going to slightly lever this end. Oh, it's the sellotape underneath. Oh my god. Right, so there we have it. And we're going to put that in place, number 37. Okay, perfect.
Bingo.
Yeah. Right, now what we're going to do to try and make this piece easier to get out is we're going to try and move this bit of lead. And it's the same thing as before. It probably will be tougher. The lead around the edge is always a little bit more worn. Now, I'm only putting my grozers halfway across the lead because I don't want to grip where the glass is. I want to grip halfway along, just up to the heart, and then I don't have any worries about levering and snapping that beautifully intact shape. So I'm being very careful when I'm cutting so I don't catch the glass. So you always have to have in your mind where the centre of the lead is.
What do you do with the lead afterwards?
I recycle it. It takes years to get enough to make it worthwhile, but that's basically what I do.
Or pay you?
Yes, a small amount for my trouble.
Mm.
Actually, with the way prices are going at the moment, maybe I'll get a bit more this time.
Well, is lead expensive now?
Well, all these kind of things are going up in price because methods of manufacturing are going up in price.
Mm.
So there we go. The malleable bit of a window is always the lead, and the bits that don't move are the solder joints. So what I do sometimes is I peel back with my lead cutters. I'm rolling back the top of the lead, and that helps to reveal the heart, and then I can sort of cut the solder joint away because that's the bit that's going to offer resistance. So we've got a bit of solder here. So again, never use your glass as a lever. Now that means we might be able to start wiggling out this piece. And again, I'm going to, well, let Ben work on the flange.
Do you want to break this off?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. You can. Here, why don't you use the lead cutters? There you go.
It was this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you're saying not to lever against it, but you kind of got to a little bit.
Let me see what I do. It's very hard. Can I just stand a bit further over?
Mm-hmm.
So
Just kind of more push,
more
pulling
push
it
it up. I mean, yes, you're right. There's a little bit of leverage, but you know, if you don't put too much pressure on it, things are just a little bit safer.
Yeah.
This is an old window. The cement's crumbly, so that's in your favour. It's actually much harder to dismantle a window that's been made more recently because, you know. Oh! 10 out of 10 there, Ben. Good job. Right, do you want to have a go at number 39?
Yeah.
No. First thing to do is this.
Okay.
Because if you use both of these, the hope is some of this will come off with it.
Right.
It's just the way I find. See what I mean? If you sort of right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe try that thing I did with the lead cutters to sort of peel up. No, it wasn't. It was like this. So you're getting this edge under that flange and rolling it. I never hold the cutters too tightly because it means I can't use too much pressure.
Because I'm guessing you'll snip it off.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, lovely. Good job. Now, the bits that came away are the lead, and it's left a bit of that behind. So,
in between.
Yeah. That's it. Sorry.
Oh.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. Okay, now you can do the flange again.
Oh, is that one of the solder bits you talking
Yeah,
about?
but you let me see if I can get the knife under it. Yeah, that's so long as you've sort of separated it from the glass. Hopefully that's enough. And give it a go. Way, hey, he's so good. Right. So this bit looks like it's gonna.
Did you take this up?
No.
This is just how it
This
was.
has been in the church like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this one, I think you can see. You're going to be able to pull that all the way around there.
Oh.
Yeah. That's it. So the thing to do, just stop for a moment, rather than lifting it from the corner, is pull the corner towards you. Actually, let's get rid of this one. Because it's going to be hanging out and we know it's just going to fall out. My approach is to do the sort of most least intervention thing first, because you may find you don't have to lift the flange, because I mean, you know, this piece has just come out. So if we move that and we move that, see this just comes out. So always give that a go before you intervene with your lead knife. That's quite interesting, isn't it? This tape has taken off the whole top flange of that lead. So peeling that back will make that easier to come away. You see, you do find once you get into it,
you start falling apart.
Yeah, sometimes you think, how did this stay together at all? And this window is being quite kind to us, actually. Because it is in such a shocking state. Ow. Generally speaking, always use these with your flat side at the top. Yeah, it will come. Perfect. And then maybe do this one because it will help release the corner here.
Yeah.
So flat side at the top, and rather than start the angle high, always come at it flat on. Perfect. So it's a pull towards you motion as you wiggle. If you take it from the middle and do that thing where okay, that's fine. Yeah, I thought it wasn't going to come. So you're working on this bit, which is fine. I'm sure that will release quite well. But there's lots of areas around here that are just falling apart. And it's always good to work on the areas that are falling apart before the areas you have to really work on, because it gives you a way in, actually. It's sort of stuff. So I would suggest at this stage turning it round and having a go at this bit. Because this bit is just asking to come apart. See? I'm just going to take a photo of the way the lead joints meet. So it seems to be this is the leading piece always, and this piece meets it and is cut to meet it. And it's quite useful if you can, when you get to the leading stage, lead it the way it was leaded before, because that will make a difference. What I would do before I approach it with the sort of levering tool, which is always a bit of a vulnerability, I would work on pulling Yeah, that doesn't even want to come, actually. No. Strange. Yeah. I don't know why those bits are so tough. But that bit's... That's always the first method before the lever, because actually, like, you didn't need to lever that piece. You just release it from the bed. So this isn't completely clear of the glass yet, so I'm only going to snip as far as the heart. Okay, so phase 2 is clean up the glass. Another laborious thing to do. This is how I do it. And actually, this doesn't want to come off. And you have to be careful that you're not going to break the glass. So this way and that. Okay, this is being surprisingly awkward considering how easily it came out of the lead. So I'm going to show you my other method for getting the cement off glass, which is by soaking it in water. So here's some I did earlier, and you can see it just comes away. Don't have to do anything but sort of smear that with my thumb. So actually that's what we're going to do with this glass. So these have been soaking overnight, and we're just going to see if we can gently remove the old cement in a really low impact way. So I'm just using my fingers, which is mostly enough. This is going to take me a while, like everything does in stained glass, so I won't film it all. Don't want to send you straight to sleep. But yeah, I just wanted you to see. I've also, you saw that I put these bits of masking tape round because I didn't really trust that the numbers would stay on, but actually they have. So my pen's obviously better than I expected it to be. You've got to, actually, if you just get your fingernail under it, it seems to do the trick. Although, of course, if you've got fingernails like mine, they're rather feeble and they're probably going to disintegrate after about 5 minutes. So I might get my lead knife. But yeah.